Tranzeet Sports TV back again, match day week 22 in EPL, and is really heating up. And as we discussed, Pep Guardiola discussed pressure and handling of it, goals being difficult to score by the big teams, and as well, we are going to talk about Aston Villa, Arsenal, and Liverpool. It was a very interesting weekend where the top four teams, none of them claimed all 3 points. Stick around. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not done so. Hit the like button and please share as well. And also, some of these issues we're going to talk about in this video, I would love to hear your take on them, starting with goals. Goals have become very difficult for especially the teams on the top end of the table to come by. This weekend, we saw Arsenal play 0-0 draw. You remember last weekend, they also, the last league game as well, they played 0-0 against Liverpool. Manchester City lost their game to Manchester United 2-0, a game that would have ended in 5-0 as well. And Aston Villa lost today as well to Everton 1-0, meaning that and Liverpool played out a 1-1 draw at home to Burnley, meaning that between the top four teams, they managed to score just 1 goal. Though Manchester United has now, I'm talking about top four before we went into the weekend, though Manchester United has now sneaked into the top four, top five as it stands. So let's talk about pressure. You know, it's one of the most talked about, but still least understood things in football. And you could see that you saw that this weekend when Arsenal played against Tottenham Forest. You also saw it today, especially in the Villa game against Everton. And why do I say this? You could see Arsenal where they didn't have a bad game, but it wasn't the best you would see Arsenal play. And part of it was the pressure of winning and not losing, because Manchester City had already lost United before Arsenal played. So it's going to be very tricky from now to the end of the season. The good thing about it for Arsenal is that City, I know we are close to being in form. In the last 4 games, I think they have drawn 3 and lost 1. So they're not in any good form at all. And Arsenal have to find a way to start winning games again. So because I've said it before, that I believe that by the end of February, before the end of February, Arsenal will be pulling away from the rest of the teams. So pressure has come into the game now, especially for Arsenal, City, and Villa, but especially for Arsenal and Aston Villa. Aston Villa, I don't believe they're going to be in the title race, but they are doing very well, and they also now have the pressure of not losing what they have, done so far this season. After their first 4 or 5 games without scoring goals, they came back, had 10 straight wins or so, or 11, and that put them into the middle of the title race this season so far. And you saw that pressure in them as well today. They were really, really being very careful and trying not to make mistakes, and they were trying too hard to stay in that game. And Everton saw that, pounced on it, and somehow snatched out a win against Aston Villa after Arsenal and City failed to win. So yeah, I believe that pressure is now pounding on Arsenal and Villa. City, I'm not going to say they are under pressure, but they can smell that it's possible to still win this league, but I don't think in terms of form and quality that they're anywhere close to winning it. Another big question this weekend is, why is nobody questioning Pep? Why is nobody talking about Pep? I mean, he has, with all due respect, he's the finest coach or the best coach or one of the best. In fact, he's the best coach in the world of football, in club football. But the last 2-3 seasons, I think it's really been, there are so many questions to be asked on Pep. If you ask me from a personal perspective, let me know what you think, if you agree with me. I mean, Pep, since he started going wrong he started losing some of these players that he won the trophies for, he has really been bad for City. Between January this year and now, City has signed about 12 or 15 players. They have spent a lot of money trying to get back to winning ways. So the big question now is it every time he hit adversity, you go and sign a player? This January he has signed 2 and going to sign 3. He signed Semenyo. Now Gay is almost concluded. I think there's one more player that they signed this January. In the summer, he signed about 3 or 4 players. Last January, he signed about 5 players as well. And still, this team is nowhere close to a team that can win the championship. They're not playing good. The players are not informed. And most especially, his decision making has become very questionable by me as well, because the lineup that he put out yesterday at Old Trafford, I don't know what that was about, and he got it completely wrong. Threw in some very young players in the thick of this, knowing how big, how massive that game was for us, for Manchester City and Manchester United, not just because of their position on the table, but the history between these two teams. I don't know what Pep was thinking, and for me, I believe it's one of the reasons why United won that game, because they could smell it, they could see it, because those players, those young boys, didn't really have no experience, and they don't know what it takes to play in that derby. And United took that advantage and eventually ran over City in a manner we have not seen in a very, very long time. And they talk about substitutions. You are looking for a goal. The best striker that EPL has seen was on the pitch, and he subbed him out and brought an unproven again player on to come and rescue Manchester City. So I believe that massive questions need to start be answering Pep. If you have to sign players each time you have a shortage, then what is your job on the field, on the training field? You're supposed to train players and make them better. But it looks like Pep doesn't have the time and the discipline anymore to coach players, but just to get additions to solve problems. And I said this last season, and I've said it this season as well, that for him to still have the saver at the core of this team, it has a lot of questions begging for answers, because Bernardo Silva, one of the finest you have seen in EPL as well, but you know that he's no longer, those gears have left him. He's no longer as strong to compete. So if he's going to be the one to orchestrate things for Manchester City, then that tells you where the team is at the moment. So other talking points for this week is Chelsea. They sacked their coach. Maresca was sacked a couple of weeks ago, about now, and Leon came in. They beat Brentford 2-0 yesterday. But as I watched that game, what I was watching wasn't even the scoreline, but I was trying to understand his philosophy. It looks like for the fans, it's going to be an interesting team to watch. But I don't think he has to understand that this is EPL. Chelsea in the eye look good, all attacking football. There was a point in that game where Chelsea lost possession, and I saw just 2 or 3 Chelsea players behind the ball. I'm like, this guy is going to learn very, very quickly. And Liverpool, of course, what is holding them is not leaving them. Yesterday, he came Burnley at Anfield, 1-1. I mean, and a slot. Questions are going to also begin to be asked and a slot. And Arsenal and pressure, like I said earlier on, they are not doing well with these pressures. Yes, they still have 7 points on top of the table. By now, if they had done what they're supposed to do the last 2 weeks, they should have been like 12 points ahead of everybody, and that would have just been easy to run away with this league. I think Arsenal need to pick their ass together, and in the next 2-3 games, put together some 2 or 3 game winning streak. And so that by the time they meet Manchester City, they should be like 10-12 points off of the rest of the pack and make it easy for themselves. But I think the pressure is really handing on them. Arteta also has some questions to be asked and for him to answer in regards to cohesion and selection of players. I didn't think the combinations that he put out yesterday was in the favor of Arsenal to win that game with regards to understanding. And one very key thing is Victor Gyökeres. He has, I don't know if Arteta is, because the way this Arsenal team is playing, I don't think there is instruction for them to find Gyökeres. I was listening to your Ferdinand and Robin Van Persie under Ferguson. They were discussing when they had that same issue when Van Persie came to United, and Ferguson called the players into his office, Rooney, Nani, and some other players. If you can't find him on the field of play, Paul Scholes, all these people, they're not going to play. And so he was driven into their minds to find Van Persie, find him. So Arsenal doesn't play like Gyökeres is a key part of their game. They just see him as an option. And if they continue to do this, it's going to be difficult for them to win games. I think Gyökeres is a good finisher, and he needs to be fed. And finally, like I said, Aston Villa, I believe the pressure is getting on them as well, and they don't have a massive squad to that effect to stand the pressure. And they have done well so far this season. I don't know how Naomi is going to do it, but if he should try and continue to sustain what they have done and see they can still finish in Champions League. Champions League matches will start again this week, and more pressure is going to be, going to be on this team, on that squad, because they have to play the Champions League, play the league, and as well in the FA Cup. So it's going to be interesting to see how the league is going to unfold. 22 games gone. Arsenal on top of the table, 22 with 7 points off of City, and Aston Villa. What a place to be, and they will continue to take it game by game. So let me know what you think. Should Pep be questioned? Is it two buys too many for Pep? Should he get to work on the training ground? And again, the pressure of being on top of the league, the pressure of being the title race for Aston Villa, and on top of the league for Arsenal. What do you think about the EPL so far? You feel Arsenal is going to win this league, or is City going to make their usual comeback? Let me know what you think, and I will see you again next time. Ciao.